Alright, what's going on everybody? I hope you are all having a great day because I'm about to make it 10 times better. With the conclusion of Cold War Zombies, it is only right for me to go ahead and rank every zombies map in Call of Duty from worst to first. Today's the day. I've been waiting since D-Machine. Now I can finally rank all the maps. Now before we get started, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and turn the notification bell on so you don't miss the next upload. And to be clear, I'm only going to be ranking Treyarch Zombies maps with the addition of Infinite Warfare Zombies. So from Nocturne Toten to Forsaken, we're ranking all the maps today. World War II Zombies and Exo Zombies I haven't played enough to really rank. And I'm not going to be including remakes, so only the original versions of the maps, so no Giant. We're also not going to be including Town, Bastille, or Farm, just Transit. So with that said, let's get into the ranking. One final thing before we get into it. Nostalgia is just going to be thrown out the window in this video. Pretty appropriate, I say that now, because there are 38 maps to rank, and number 38 is going to be none other than Nacht der Untoten. Nacht was the first ever Zombies map, but it is very small, with only 3 doors. Now, if you tried to tell me that Nacht is a good map for any other reason than nostalgia, then you would just be simply lying. Because if Nacht der Untoten came out for, say, in today's day and age, everybody on Earth except probably Johnny J25 would put it at the dead last spot. The flamethrower isn't even the main reason high rounds exist on this map. It's the fact that after round 15, there's a 24 zombie cap every single round. Alright, coming in at number 37, we have Die Rise. Die Rise as well brought nothing but torture. Who's Who, which is indubitably the worst perk in all of Call of Duty Zombies, without a doubt. And to add on that, it is on the worst possible map that it could be on. And it's also a very easy map, but it's just so boring. You can get the Sliquifier on round 1 due to the bank, but obviously after the Sliquifier patch, it was never the same. Now I think it is still included in the high rounds, but who wants to go on high rounds on Die Rise? No one. No one does. Alright, so that brings us to number 36, which is going to be Black Ops 4's own Dead of the Night. It really brought nothing but a complicated Easter egg, the Nosferatus, and not the Chaos Crew. Who are you? Number 35 is going to be Voyage of Despair, another Black Ops 4 Zombies map. Voyage actually had a great atmosphere. It did have the Chaos Crew as well, so, you know, it kind of blended, and we actually thought it was going to be the best launch map on Black Ops 4. Little did we know it was going to be the worst. I can't really explain it well, but it was just a big map, but it was very small because the rooms were very tight. The Easter egg is a bunch of chaos. See what I did there? And honestly, just shooting the planets was the only cool Easter egg step. The boss fight too, it was mid. The Kraken, did you even know there were elemental Krakens? Because they're all equally trash. And to top it all off, the ending cutscene where they could have improvised so great. They didn't even have to improvise. They could have just used the factual stuff that happened at the Titanic, but instead they just left the ship and swam away in their little boat. Like, are you kidding me? Okay, number 34, let's drop back down all the way to World at War Zombies. We have Shino Numa. Shino Numa is going to be the first map that I actually don't go on a rant about. You know, you can't really hate Shino Numa. It's a very underrated map. In fact, it might be the most underrated Zombies map of all time. You got the Wonderwaff, you have perks, the basic 4, but still. Double tap, not so good, and quick revive doesn't work on solo, but you get the point. I will always stand a map with 4 corners, kind of like Shino Numa, kind of like 9, you know, with 4 separate perks. I like those layouts. The high rounds, not only because of the zombies cap, but also because of the flogger, and then obviously like the Tommy gun and the Wonderwaff. The pair is just great. It's kind of sad that it has to come to the number 34 spot. I just think everything above it is at least a little bit better. Coming in at number 33, we have Verrückt. So Verrückt is kind of like a baby step better than Nocturne Toten, but it is definitely better in many ways, as it was the first map to introduce perks. The guns are, you know, decent, just like Nocturne Toten. The high rounds are also pretty accessible due to the trap on the map. Alright, now coming in at number 32, we have Blood of the Dead. I may have been a little too harsh on Shino, but I do think at least Blood of the Dead is better than it. In fact, I'd just like to add that Blood of the Dead gets 10 times more hate than it actually deserves. Now with that said, Blood of the Dead, we'll all just say it is a rip-off Mob of the Dead. It had the crucial parts of the Mob of the Dead, but it was missing parts like the Golden Gate Bridge, for example, and it added new parts like the spawn room or anywhere before the catwalk, which you really never went to after the catwalk. You never went back to that place, especially the spawn room. I mean, who was even in the spawn room besides at the start? Now, I do like the high rounds on this map. I do love the Easter egg and the Easter egg ending. Obviously, playing with the premise is a bonus, and the Magma Gat is also pretty good. So overall, it's not such a bad map, but when you compare it to Mob of the Dead, it is south. Okay, it has mostly been World at War and Black Ops 4 Zombies maps, but now number 31 is a new game. It is going to be Infinite Warfare Zombies, and number 31 is going to be Attack of the Radioactive Thing. Honestly, Attack is a very bright, unsaturated map, and it's a very big map as well. The Easter egg is very complicated, and the Easter egg boss fight is almost impossible with multiple people. I would know myself greatest. Honestly, the atmosphere of the map is great. It's at a beach in like 1940, you know, the power's out at first, you know, it's black and white, and it just has such an atmosphere to the map that you can grasp so easily. There's many parts as well to the Easter egg. Like I said, it's very confusing. You know, you have to mix different bonds and elements. Sadly though, it is the worst Infinite Warfare Zombies map. I do like the boss fight as well. The boss itself is so cool, and the ending is also pretty cool. A good DLC 3. And coming in at number 30, another Zombies map from IW. It's going to be Shaolin Shuffle. I think Shaolin is just a little bit better than Attack. I think it would be disrespectful to put Shaolin at the worst Infinite Warfare Zombies map, because it was pretty iconic, although it was kind of a copy and paste from Shadows of Evil. Not really a copy and paste, although many parts were kind of adopted from Shadows of Evil. It was definitely different in many ways. Like, there were so many different places around the map. You know, you got the sewers, the bank, the bus, the train tracks, the burlesque, everything. It's really on point. However, the Easter egg is okay, you know, it's nothing special. I really do like the Shi style, I think it's called, you know, like the Kung Fu wonder weapons. What I don't like is that the map is so small, incredibly tight as well. It's just really difficult to just lounge on. I feel like it's kind of a chore in a way, where you always have to be on your feet doing something. Number 29 is 5. I really like 5. A lot of people hate on 5, but honestly, it's a pretty good map for me. It is very difficult, which does bring it down a lot, but that's what also adds to the map. It's very tight. It's a very tight map, and it's very difficult to get to high rounds. It has a very terrible wonder weapon. There's not many spots that you can even train in on this map. You have to use the bare minimum to actually get to a high round, and that's really what this map is. It's high rounds, because you can't really do anything else on it. You can't have fun either. And also the atmosphere, and especially the characters. The best, no, definitely not the best, but the coolest characters in Call of Duty Zombies. You got JFK, Richard Nixon, Fidel Castro. I forgot the last guy. Now I'm actually editing the video, and I realized that I left out a crucial part of the map, the Pentagon Thief. To sum it up, he basically takes all your guns and ammo, but if you do somehow end up killing him, then you actually get a bonfire sale, which means it reduces the cost of the Pack-a-Punch, which is a pretty cool gift. Alright, 27. Finally, the map that everyone says it's the worst map of all time. It's Transit. Okay, we knew it was coming. It's honestly in my top 5 favorite maps. Now, that means my opinion, but I can agree that it is a pretty shitty map. It was too early for its time. Some may say, you know, the engine was just not good enough. It was too big of a map. It got so bad to a point where parts of the map simply just wouldn't load, and they had to resort to fog and adding denizens to slow down the player. But obviously that crucially hurt the map in a lot of ways. There are many things I would have added on, like Pack-a-Punch. You can Pack-a-Punch once, but then the turbine breaks, and every time you want to Pack-a-Punch a new time, you have to create a new turbine and then build it and then place it and hope to the gods that it wasn't broken by a zombie. You have to run across the entire map to actually go back to Pack-a-Punch, and then finally Pack-a-Punch your guns. I think we've all seen that one, the Smith Plays video, where he ranks the top 5 worst maps, and number 1 is Transit, and he absolutely shits on it. But once you get the gist of it, it's not that difficult. The wonder weapon as well is so sucky. The jet gun, who asked for that? And it breaks after like 5 seconds of use. Number 27 is going to be Alpha Omega. Alpha is like the midpoint in Black Ops 4 Zombies. It's not atrocious, but it's not great in any means. You know, the Ray Gun Mark II elemental wonder weapons were pretty cool, but nothing special. The Easter egg was also kind of boring, and also the boss fight was very quick, you know, with the Avagaja, where you just have to knife him. And the high rounds, just crazy how you could go up to someone and say, the high rounds for this map is the ballistic knife and electric cherry, and that's literally it. Alright, 26. I feel like I put this map pretty high on the list, but it's going to be Beast from Beyond from Infinite Warfare Zombies. I really love the atmosphere. It was so much different from the previous maps, you know, obviously in the 80s, 70s, 40s. This was actually in the future, and it was on a spaceship. Some of it was on a actual planet where you could leave the spaceship. The wonder weapon is pretty cool. The characters, which was the same crew for the entirety of the game, were pretty cool. The Easter egg was also pretty cool, and the boss fight was pretty cool. However, you have a super Easter egg in Infinite Warfare Zombies, Mephistopheles. Such a cool boss fight. You are quite literally fighting the devil. Now, I feel like it was so difficult because you had to not only complete every map once, but you had to complete every map a second time with the director's cut that you got from completing every map. And then once you completed every map with the director's cut, including Beast from Beyond, then you would be put into Mephistopheles. And if you lost, you would have to do that all over again. Well, you would have to do the whole Easter egg over again. And then you would have to fight the rhinos before Mephistopheles, which is so hard. But this map is a headache, but it's also really cool how they just added to it so much. And that brings us to 25. Surprisingly, only the second Black Ops 1 map. It is going to be Shangri-La. Shang, in its prime, was the most beautiful and aesthetic Zombies map of all time. Although I personally don't enjoy Shang, I know a lot of people that do. It actually does have an Easter egg, and no, it's not on Mars, by the way. I feel like Shang is a map you either love or you hate. You know, it's day and night. No pun intended, because that's actually a step in the Easter egg. But the wonder weapon, the baby gun, iconic. It doesn't even do any damage technically. It turns the zombies into babies, and then you run over them, and then they die. Coming in at number 24, we have the overrated, the stinky, the no one likes you, Kino der Toten. Okay, Kino was my first ever zombies map, and I loved it at the time. But then I saw how overrated it was. Alright, I like Kino. Honestly, it's pretty good. It's not great in my liking, but in my opinion of the actual map itself, it is so disgustingly overrated because it's clearly the most iconic zombies map of all time. It's the start of Black Ops 1, basically what got almost 90% of like every OG zombies player into zombies. It was actually a pretty small map, but it dealt greatly in its time. You know, you have the theater with the power, training strats, the camping spots, and also the thunder gun to add on all of that. Alright, number 23, Nuketown Zombies. Another map, I feel like I put it a little too high now that I'm looking at this list, but I'm honestly pretty content with where I put everything. Nuketown Zombies is like the map that you should go to if you want to become a better zombies player. It's very difficult, but not in a way like Verrucht where you can get your perks and get your guns right away. No, the Pack-a-Punch and all the perks spawn in at random times up to around 20. So that means you can be getting Jug at around 20, or is it 25? I don't know. But it's also on the Black Ops 2 engine, which is probably one of the most harshest engines of all time, as you know, it's a 2-hit without Jug. It's a 3-hit with Jug, but still. You have a lower chance of getting the Ray Gun Mark II on Nuketown than you do on any other map in Black Ops 2 with the Ray Gun Mark II. So yeah, a very difficult map, but I like it for what it is. Number 22, another Black Ops 4 map. It's Classified. Classified did a ton of things right from 5. You know, it fixed the Winter's Howl. I would say this map is more of a remake than a remaster because it only added a few new rooms that honestly weren't really needed. The Pack-a-Punch area though, Groom Lake, that was so cool. You know, Area 51 of Moon. It's cool that they added that in. But the Easter egg, just why? Round 150 you needed to get to complete this Easter egg. Once they took away the option of completing an Easter egg with custom mutations and you couldn't just set every round to a dog round, who wanted to complete this Easter egg? The only reason why you would complete this Easter egg is to complete every Easter egg, or maybe for a super Easter egg that just wasn't there in Black Ops 4. But, you know, it really deteriorates this map because it was a great map, but the Easter egg was just not it. Okay, number 21, the first Cold War Zombies map, surprisingly. Honestly, Cold War did pretty good. It's going to be Firebase Z, the first DLC Zombies map, or the second Zombies map in the life cycle. It's kind of funny because every map in this game was either a remake or remaster from, you know, a previous Zombies game, campaign map, or multiplayer map, except Firebase Z, and I'm putting it at the dead last spot in Cold War Zombies maps ranking. It got the most boring, the quickest. I feel like a lot of that has to do with the fact that there was just no content in that period of time in Cold War Zombies. You know what I'm talking about. There was just months of basically nothing, except Outbreak right after the launch, but then Outbreak got boring really quickly too. The mimics were just so overused on this map. I mean, I don't know even why they're a boss, because they're so easy to take down, but they just jump scare you. That's all they do, because they hide in the nature of other items that are clearly misplaced around the map. So yeah, there you go. Number 21 is Firebase C, and number 20 is going to be Tog der Toten. It is kind of shameful for me to put Tog this low, but I feel like it kind of does deserve the spot. In many ways, it's very similar to Call of the Dead. Obviously, it's a remaster for Call of the Dead, but I feel like they could have went so much differently on the final map in the Ether storyline. Like, once again, I'll just say it. It's the final map in the Ether storyline, and you decide to remake Call of the Dead. Call of the Dead. And it's not even better than the original Call of the Dead, which just makes it worse. Honestly, just a sin that the last Ether map had to be on Black Ops 4 because the engine was just terrible. But it did bring some cool shots, you know, like the Easter egg where the whole map was in lava, and some funny moments like the Tundra Gun glitch with the zip line. You know what I'm talking about.
No, just Thunder Gun. But it replaced my window off. And I found a glitch!
But it feels like everything, or really nothing, was original. You know, the wonder weapons were kind of unoriginal. The map obviously was unoriginal. The Easter egg, the boss fight, not even a boss fight. It's just you're following a red circle around the map and then you win. But in the end, the cycle was broken, so you can't complain. And that brings us to number 19, which is Mauer der Toten. A step up from Firebase Z was the map after Firebase Z. You know, the wonder weapons were really good. I love the Cerberus. Everything else actually was kind of trash. The high rounds are pretty fun and also pretty difficult, and the Easter egg is probably one of the longest Easter eggs in the game, and the boss fight is also really good. I like honestly everything about this map. The setting and the atmosphere. Mauer, just a great map, and it's in Berlin. And it has the Der Toten, so it has to be good. I mean, somewhat. Okay, number 18 is going to be Call of the Dead, another overrated zombies map. I don't know why everyone hypes this up. All this is just a lot of snow, ice, and fog, and also George Romero. Okay, you have some iconic features. You know, you have the Scavenger and the VR11, both very different wonder weapons, we can call them. One of the quickest Easter eggs in history, and that's about it. Number 17 is Rave in the Redwoods. This is another underrated zombies map. I love Rave. The Easter egg is very quick, but it's also very replayable, and so is the entire map. There's so many things to do on honestly so many maps in this game, and you kind of just skip them if you do the Easter egg. High rounds are also very fun. All of the crossbows are also really fun to use. In the boss fight, you know, killing the slasher. I love the bosses in Infinite Warfare. 16 is gonna be Forsaken, the final DLC from Cold War Zombies. I actually really like Forsaken. The wonder weapon is what really stands out. You know, the sledgehammer, I think it's called like the Crystal Axe. I don't think it has infinite damage, but aside from that, it's a great wonder weapon. You know, you got Burger Town in this, and the Easter egg as well. I feel like this is also a step up from Mauer der Toten, which was a step up from Firebase Z. The only major change I would make about this map is the boss fight. Don't get me wrong, it's great for what it is, but the boss itself was just not visually pleasing, because if you go back to Outbreak, you know, we had that Legion boss, and that was a huge boss with purple crystals, and that was exactly this boss. It was just in a different form. You know, imagine if we were killing a giant squid in the final map of Cold War Zombies. Instead, we were just killing another crystal dude. And Cold War Zombies was the best game to implement bosses out of any game, because you can literally just pull out anything out of the Dark Ether. It doesn't have to make any sense, but instead you have to reuse the same model for 3 bosses: Legion, Valentina, and whatever this dude's name is. Forsaken, that's the name of the map. Forsaken is number 16. Number 15, this is the top 15. Now we got Ancient Evil. I think we can all agree this is either the second or maybe even the best zombies map from Black Ops 4. It did everything right. It was so unique. The wonder weapons, the bosses, the pigeon dude, what was his name, like Pegasus, and the boss fight as well. The coolest boss fight probably in the game. Number 14 is Ascension. This map had everything going for it. The only change I would make is the monkeys. Honestly, they're very annoying. You have some cool side Easter eggs as well as the main one, but the side Easter egg, you know, blowing up the rocket ship with the ray gun, who can forget that as well? This map basically introduced not only stamina up, but also training as a whole. I mean, it was a thing in Kino that everyone does nowadays, but back then, this map really introduced it. Number 13 is gonna be Darius from World at War. I know, crazy how a map made so many years ago can be this high on the list. There is probably nothing I would change about Darius. The only reason why it's not even higher is because obviously it was made on World at War. It introduced Pack-a-Punch, a staple in zombies that we still see today, and the Wonderwaff as well. I don't think it was first on this map, but still, it also introduced the monkey bombs, which we still have today, and the iconic, the beloved catwalk. Who can forget? All right, number 12. This is literally a masterpiece that no one talks about, but it's going to be the first map from Cold War Zombies XD machine. I see some people putting this at the bottom of their list in Cold War Zombies map rankings, and that's absurd to me. When this map first launched, it had the best vibe to it. The ray gun returned, all the perks returned, you know, Juggernog, Speed Cola. The only thing I would change about this map is probably the boss fight. It was very glitchy at the beginning, and it really still is. But other than that, this map is a masterpiece. Now, coming in at number 11, just outside the top 10, it's gonna be Revelations. Revelations, mostly filled with nostalgia and parts of other maps, although that's not why I'm putting it here. It reminds me of Dr. Toten in a way where, you know, they kind of added back the previous wonder weapons like the Apothecary Servant and the Thunder Gun. Two main problems, red flags about this map is, first of all, the originality. There was almost no originality throughout the whole map. The only two places really that were original was the spawn room and the Pack-a-Punch room, which was like the Apothecary and maybe the boss fight if you want to count it. And the second one was obviously the ending. Honestly, I like the ending, but a lot of people didn't. I don't know if it was apparent that the cycle was going to continue after this map, but many people were just surprised and honestly mad at this ending. Alright, number 10 is Moon. Now that I think about it, Moon is now the best Black Ops 1 Zombies map. I think it had one of the best Easter eggs in all of Zombies, obviously blowing up the Earth, although that didn't end well, ending up on Transit and Area 51, or No Man's Land, whatever you want to call it. You know, you start out with Pack-a-Punch, the first time we ever saw it, but there's a risk. It's risk and reward, because the first minute is all pleasant, but after that, the zombies are chasing you, you know, you got dogs, and you really have nothing to defend yourself. Now, number 9, this might be kind of controversial, but it's Zetsubou, no Shima. And yeah, I said it, Zetsubou is better than Revelations. Now yes, the Easter egg is pretty complicated. When you start this map, when you launch this map, you may just be thinking, well, you click the score button and then you see all the different parts that you need to pick up, and you're like, I am not searching up a guide for every single thing, I'm quitting. And yes, I see where you're coming from, but when you actually learn the map, it's so much fun. And there's also so many different things that like people usually don't discover in this map, or just don't do if they're going for a high round or an Easter egg. Now the Easter egg, yes, it is kind of Garden Simulator, and the fact that you're basically just fixing an elevator the whole time as well. After the boss fight, you know, you have one of the best cinematic pieces in all of Call of Duty. Alright, number 8 is 9 from Black Ops 4. The only thing that is bad about this map is that it was on Black Ops 4. This map otherwise was perfect. Yes, you do have the wonder weapon, which was questionable, but you also have the Helion Salvo to make up with that. You have tigers, gladiators, the Easter egg, pretty complicated, but a great reward and a great boss fight, the elephant, who has 2 stages, and I mean, this is what I'm talking about. This is the boss that I want to see, a fucking elephant. Alright, number 7. Buried. Buried, also very innovative for its time. You know, you have Leroy, you also have the bank, which was kind of used in the previous Victus maps, but we're not going to talk about that. Vulturade, you know, many one-hit wonders on this map. The Witch's House, which is still scary to this day, and the Maze and the Pack-a-Punch as well. The Paralyzer as well. And this map introduced the Reagan Mark II. This was so innovative with a lot of one-hit wonders on this map. Buried is a great map. I think it is the last map that I would say is in the A tier category. This is the top 6, and I think all of these maps are equally S tier. I mean, although they do have a certain list, I think they're all S tier maps. And that is going to start off with number 6, which is Zombies in Spaceland. Oh boy! The crocodile, the tickets, the mini games, the roller coaster, the Ghost and Skulls, David Hasselhoff, the Arcane Core. I mean, there is just so many innovative things on this map, as well as the Easter egg and the boss fight. Anyone can go on this map and have a fun time. It was the perfect start to Infinite Warfare Zombies. Yeah, Spaceland Zombies, one of my favorite Zombies maps of all time, coming in at number 6. And number 5, we have Origins. Okay, Origins is one of my least favorite Zombies maps, but this is where I can come to agree with people who say it's a great map, because I know, yes, it is in my heart. It is a great map. This was actually the first time we saw the Primus crew. It was DLC 4 of Black Ops 2. We had the 4 elemental staves, the Panzer to balance that out, the Mud, which was a pain in the ass. I think this would be at the bottom of the top 5, because although the Easter egg was cool, I mean, there were some questionable steps. And also the boss fight. There's not even a boss. It's just kill however many zombies and then you win. Alright, number 4 is Mob of the Dead. One of the best sceneries. Jason Blundell had to fly out all the way to Alcatraz to make this map. And yes, it's set on Alcatraz and partially on the Golden Gate Bridge. You have the 4 characters. You have the Blundergat, the infamous cafeteria training spot, the airplane as well. Everything blends in this map, and it is amazing. Number 3, Garad Krovi. Actually, in the top 4 maps, they're all perfect except probably this map, and I would know best because I have gotten to round 100 on Garad Krovi. It's great, you know, but you do have some flaws, like the Ray Gun Mark III that drop off after round like 45, 50. You know, they don't do infinite damage, unfortunately. And the map itself is pretty tight. There's no like big, huge areas, but the Easter egg, oh my god, the Easter egg steps were also amazing. I mean, you got the first initial steps, and then you got the trophy steps and the boss fight as well. You got to kill a dragon in order to kill Nikolai 1.0. Number 3, Garad Krovi. But a perfect map is number 2, and that is Shadows of Evil. At the start, a lot of people questioned Shadows of Evil. I think a simpler map like maybe the Giant, for example, was a good way to start out Black Ops 3 because a lot of people were questionable about the system. In Black Ops 3, you know, we had new things. We had squids all over the place. We had gobblegums, the sliding feature, so many new things. But in the end, Shadows of Evil delivered. You have the Shadow Man boss fight, the Wonder Weapon, the greatest Wonder Weapon in all of Call of Duty Zombies, the Marstagwa or the Apothecant Servant, the wall running, the pack punch, the high rounds are phenomenal. Now, although I am a sucker for Shadows of Evil, I'm also a sucker for medieval castles, and that brings us to the number 1 spot, the greatest and the best zombies map overall in Call of Duty Zombies. It's gonna be Der Reisendrock. You have elements from previous maps like Mob of the Dead, the dogs, you have that in the dragon's form to get your first bow, the Wrath of the Ancients, and then you can pick 4 different paths for 4 different bows, and each bow is great in their own collective ways. You got the fire, the void, the lightning, and the wolf. And honestly, I'm not afraid to say it, the bows are better than the stabs overall. The Easter egg as well, the steps are actually fun to do, how you get to travel back in time, and also the boss fight, killing the Keeper. One of the coolest moments in COD Zombies is not killing the Keeper, but actually blowing up the moon. I will never forget the first time I blew up the moon under Reisendrock, and that about wraps it up. Thank you boys for watching, if you did watch till the end. You are a true survivor. Let me know what you would do differently. I think it was pretty solid, a 10 out of 10 list in my opinion. And yeah, that's gonna be the video. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you boys in the next one. Peace. Bye for now.